Hey, what's up guys? So obviously there has been a lot of talk about the new castings for the Harry Potter TV show. I made a video about it, I've talked about it on Twitter or X, and I've made my opinions pretty clear. If you're interested, I'll link those videos down below so you can watch it after this video. Today though, we are going to focus on John Lithgow, who was cast as Albus Dumbledore. So this article by CNN Entertainment, which was written by Amarachi Ori, sorry if I butchered that pronunciation, but basically it says John Lithgow addresses concerns over Harry Potter series casting. So I myself have had some reservations about John Lithgow, not because of his acting skill, but solely because of his age. I'm a little bit worried that he won't make it to the end of the series because at the moment he's 79 years old. By the time they start filming, he'll be 80, and if working on the show goes as long as the movies did, that's 10 years, meaning he'll be 90 plus years old. Here though, there is actually another thing that they're addressing, which is the fact that he's American. So let's look at the article. It says that John Lithgow was quoted saying he's very excited about the new upcoming Harry Potter series as he's playing Albus Dumbledore, and he's brushing off criticism that the role of the Wizarding Headmaster has been given to an American actor. It goes over how he's a 6-time Emmy Award winner, which obviously there's no doubt that he is a legendary actor. Like, he's the best of the best if you ask me. Moving on to another quote though, he says that he's very excited but also very intimidated. So the article says that Dumbledore was famously associated with the late actor Michael Gambon, and that he took over for Richard Harris, who of course passed away before the third movie. Now obviously there's a lot of memes in the Harry Potter fandom about Michael Gambon's portrayal of Dumbledore, mainly Dumbledore asks calmly. I feel like that has blown up so much. I think it has like 50 million plus views on YouTube. But as much as that is a meme, it actually was a real problem with Michael Gambon's Dumbledore, because Dumbledore was meant to be this very calm guy and he rarely raised his voice. Meanwhile, Michael Gambon is just screaming throughout the entire fourth movie. Also, addressing that Richard Harris, the first Dumbledore in the movies, passed away. He was only 72 years old and he was cast at the age of 70. Meanwhile, John Lithgow was cast at the age of 79 and will be 10 years older than Harris was, which again goes with my concerns about his casting. But getting back to the article and how people are criticizing his casting because he's an American. This is a big deal because for the most part, the movies cast only English actors. J.K. Rowling, the author of the series, did not want any Americans. Lithgow will be the first American actor to play the major role on screen. And while there has been some skepticism over the casting of an American actor, Lithgow remains confident he'll be able to embrace the role. And he was quoted saying, "I will be following the great Michael Gambon. I'm not an Englishman, although I've played one on TV. I remind everyone that I did play Winston Churchill on The Crown and did just fine." That quote might seem very cocky on his part, but I'm gonna be honest, he has the right to be cocky. He's had an incredible acting career and I think he's allowed to boast a bit. I discussed a little bit in my last video how amazing his role as Winston Churchill in The Crown was. And he showed both the powerful side of Dumbledore as well as the calm side of Dumbledore. So he definitely has both sides of the character down. Hopefully he's able to balance that in the correct way, unlike Michael Gambon did. No shade at Michael Gambon though, he's still an incredible Dumbledore, especially in the later films. His performance in the cave for the Half-Blood Prince, wow, amazing. Continuing Lithgow's quote, he says, "But yes, I mean, it's an enormous thrill. But I know there are plenty of people appalled that an American should be hired to play the ultimate English wizard." And he added saying, "But I will do my best." And yeah, I think he will. And I think he's going to be an amazing Dumbledore, should he be able to make it to the end. And then the article addresses how he talked about the role with Screen Rant, and he said that choosing to accept the role was not an easy decision because it's going to define his final chapter of life. And he added that he'll be 87 years old at the wrap party. Again, I don't think that's realistic that he'll be 87. I think he's going to be 90 plus years old, but we'll see. When I voiced this, I will say I saw some comments of people who have no faith in this show saying, "Don't worry, he's not going to be too old because the show is going to be canceled after 2 seasons." Obviously, everybody is very upset about the Snape casting, which I don't want to talk about too much or really address in this. I've given my opinion, both the good and mostly the bad. The article then goes on to talk about other actors and actresses that were cast, including British actor Janet McTeer as Hogwarts professor Minerva McGonagall. And getting back to Papa Essiaду as Snape, he was a London-born actor. And it also mentions Nick Frost as the half-giant Rubeus Hagrid. To me, I've already said this, but I think Janet McTeer as McGonagall, great choice. And I think Nick Frost as Hagrid, perfect. 10 out of 10. And then we have a quote directly from HBO themselves. "We're delighted to have such extraordinary talent on board, and we can't wait to see them bring these beloved characters to new life." And they then went on to say, "Lead a new generation of fandom full of the fantastic detail and much loved characters Harry Potter fans have adored for over 25 years. But yeah, so John Lithgow, he's addressed the concerns that he's an American. He's talked about his age, but I think the main thing to take away from this is that, yeah, he knows that he's an American. He knows that many people are not happy because he's an American. I think he's gonna do a good job, and his role as Winston Churchill really does show that he can play an English actor. If you haven't seen him in that role, go watch it. He's one of the best parts of that series. So me personally, I think it doesn't really matter that he's an American, and it might be weird for me to say because I'm an American myself, but it's not really about English people versus American, it's just Harry Potter fans. And that's my opinion as a Harry Potter fan. Let me know what you think. Comment below and just give me your thoughts on him not being English, your thoughts on him being too old, which he did discuss, saying he would be 87 at the wrap party. Do you think he will be too old? Do you think that the show in general will make it to the final book? There's a lot to comment about, so I'm excited to hear your thoughts. That's all for today though. I just wanted to pop on and go over that with you guys and just hear your thoughts and share my thoughts. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.